Good evening, and welcome to Motor City Radio. You chilling with your girl, sexy Shakenya in the house. So one more again. This is what we do around this time, people. And I ain't gonna disappoint. Yeah, we got C.A. King Literary Services in the building, and we have the owner, Carl A. King, in the house. Yes, we do.
Good evening.
Welcome to the show. Welcome. And you know what, Carl? Before we get started, I have to give a shout out to my auntie Doreen. I gotta give people their flowers when they're here, and I definitely have to shout out people that show me love and give me support, right? So I have an auntie who's known me all my life, right? And she just have been so supportive in almost everything that I got going on. And when I say support, meaning that any service that I offer, she's probably used them. She's probably referred people. This is like the third or fourth, fifth guest that she has referred. And it's probably more than that. But just right off my head, the last couple weeks has been courtesy of my auntie. Just basically telling someone that they can promote their business on the radio with me, right? So I just, and it's probably more than that. It's probably and so I'm thankful for her. That is the type of support that I need for this platform. So if you didn't know, Motor City Radio is a platform for you, right? For you to come and promote your business, because what happens is when you come here, you live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Big O. You get a chance to share the link so that people see you in the studio. They hear you. Hopefully they don't hear all what I'm hearing, right? But for the most part, you get the link. So you get the link. Today is no different. So this is what we do every Friday, and we're gonna do it tonight, right? So we're gonna talk about C.A. King Literary Services. We're gonna talk about some of the things that they do, So again, welcome, Mr. Carl King, to Motor City Radio. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Now, what you got going on here? C.A. King Literary Services. How long you been around, Carl?
Well, C.A. King Literary Services has been around for 15 years. Actually, we just celebrated our 15th anniversary, July 12th. And
congratulations. We ain't gonna skip past that. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, because it's really a milestone. I was really excited.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, I was really excited about celebrating it. And what we do is we provide intervention for reading and ELA for students that range from 4 to 80 years old. We literally have adults, we have kids, we have it all. And we get people to read. We intervene. So the difference between what we do and a reading specialist, a reading specialist may know a number of different strategies and ways of doing things. We work directly with the person that needs the reading or the ELA increase, and we find out where their voids are, and we go in and we fill those voids and get them to read. That's what we do.
That's a lot. Because a lot of people don't like to read, and then it shows. You know what I mean? Because there's so much, all the information that you need to survive or anything else is in the book. And so you'll just be surprised at how many people don't want to read. They just don't.
Well, I'm going to share this, that, and I believe it's true, that investors in prisons look at the third grade or second grade reading skill levels of students to determine how many prisons they're going to build. So that's just how important reading is. And the reason that they look at the second grade is because your transition from basic reading to comprehension is from second to third grade. So they know if they don't have the basic reading skills, they're not going to be able to comprehend. And since they are going to end up dropping out or end up going in a different direction than possibly their life could have been.
Oh my goodness. And reading is very important. I know I used to have my girls read when they were coming up, and rather than getting on TV and on the computer and all that type of stuff, read a book, and they enjoyed it. They actually, I built a bookshelf. I still got that bookshelf. It's old, it's falling apart, but I still got it in my living room. Nothing but books. Now, I need to read more. Well, you know what? Let me stop saying that, because when I say that, I mean in the sense of, you get your book out and you're just sitting there and you just reading a little romantic story or something that's gonna take you away. So I'm not gonna say that, because I read every day, because I'm constantly trying to educate myself on different stuff.
That's right.
So I've been reading up on a lot of stuff that I didn't think I would have to, for the sake of my business, for the sake of everything. But yeah, I used to have them read all the time.
Yeah, if it's unfortunate, but if you put things in a book, people miss it. And I explain that to students. Reading is fundamental, and there's no part of your life, period, that reading is not going to either benefit you or hurt you if you cannot do it. I tell many young people when they go into Kroger or a grocery store and a elderly person is asking them to read something for them, and they may act like something's wrong with their eyes, but the reality is they probably couldn't read it. And so reading is truly fundamental, truly fundamental.
Oh my goodness. What made you decide to want to teach others? Spread the word, because it's one thing for you to know how important it is. So you read and you doing you, But what made you want to share it? Spread the word. In terms of
educate,
teach, because that's a lot. It's a lot.
In much of my adult life, I've done different things, and that's the importance of having a degree or a skill set. You can actually change the different directions of your life. And almost at a snap, right? And so when I first came back to Detroit, I went to college. I went to Southern University down in Baton Rouge. I'm HBCU grad. Okay. And thank you. Right on. Thank you. And when I first got back, I eventually was a substitute teacher at Marquette Elementary. Middle school, and that is where I met Miss Hall, your aunt. Okay. And I taught her daughters. Okay. But at that point, I didn't understand reading like I understand it now. But I had wrote a cooperative learning program called The Adventures of Jack Smack Having a Crack Attack. It was to, and I'm gonna bring it back. I was about to say you're gonna have to bring that. I'm gonna bring it back. But it was to help Black families understand the devastation of crack and what it does to the family and in turn does to the community. So in writing that, but I did not know the basic reading skills. I understood comprehension. I then, at Marquette, I learned some things, and then I became a tutor at Lewis College of Business. Okay. And ultimately, I ended up teaching classes over at Lewis in their developmental department under Dr. Thomas Howard III. And then I still learned some more comprehensive things. When Lewis closed, I was also director of admissions for Lewis. So when Lewis closed, my boss went over to Catholic Social Services at that time, which is what ended up being Community Social Services. Okay. And they started an education department. And she recruited me to come to the education department. And one of the things that I had to do was go through a training that dealt with reading intervention. Okay. And from that training, the rest just took off because it was really the component that I did not know, but I always wanted to know, how do you teach people how to read? Over the last 41 days, we've taught 7 students, literally non-readers, how to read. Those students range from second graders to ninth graders. Yeah, we get down. And so that motivated me to, once I learned the skill set, I've been doing it ever since and been taking off ever since.
Wow. Now, are you looking for help? Are you looking for employees or anything of that nature?
That's a good question too.
Out with that?
So what we're doing now, okay. Before the pandemic, I had other interventions that I trained. What happened during the pandemic was, once the pandemic hit, I took 2 weeks off to learn, or just to actually strategize, how am I going to teach the basic reading skill set, over the computer. And
because before you go any further, and I
Go
don't
ahead.
mean to interrupt,
No,
Carl.
go ahead.
Were you always virtual, or
No.
did you have? Okay,
no,
okay,
before we were not virtual at all.
okay.
But I thought about what's the different ways. One of the things that we do in person is we use kinetic learning as well. So audio, visual, and kinetic learning, and so they can touch the pieces of the letters to remember, so they can remember what the letters are, right, or the letter sounds are, right. Well, once we went virtual, they couldn't touch them no more. So I sat back and thought about strategies of how to mentally get them to touch the pieces without actually physically touching them. And so I put it to
That's
work,
a
and
whole
it started
program.
working.
You
Yeah.
have to create a whole program.
Well,
to
no,
do
I
that.
just had to add. Well, some of the things. Think about it. Virtually,
Well, it sounds complicated, to be able
it's
to do that.
no, it's not as complicated as you might think.
Okay.
Some of the things that we did in person, our strategies, we developed all of our strategies in house.
Okay.
So what I did was every student that I ran into, I was trying to get them to read, I came up with a different strategy for them to read, and if it worked, we incorporated it. Okay, so all of our strategies are in house.
Okay.
So let's say if we were meeting you and you had difficulties in reading, we would use some of the strategies that we have, but then we would create strategies too that because we're going to get you where you need to be. Okay. Once we did that, the virtual piece is not really that difficult because if the student can see the board, okay, which they can, just like if they was in person, correct? They can see the board, so now the manipulation is on my end, but the communication is between me and the student. And so it wasn't as difficult as you might think because you have to be in a reading realm to understand that.
Now, when you're doing it virtually, is it like a classroom setting, or is it just individual training? How did you?
That's a great question. So I see my students virtually. I see students 7 days a week. I literally work 7 days a week. We've got students all over the country, Alabama. I've got students, and the evening students. When we see them, some of them is in a different time zone. So I may have a student at 9 o'clock their time, but it's 10 o'clock our time. That kind of thing, right?
Gotcha.
Because they're in school too. But when we see them individually. We want to dive into you, the person. What is your specific issue, right? Yeah. So let's say that a student is a third grade or higher, and the parent is coming to me, and the parent is saying, Mr. King, her comprehension is off, right? We got to go through some steps to find out what if the basic reading issue is there, the fluency is there. What is there to make sure that now we can deal with comprehension? If you don't deal with those earlier pieces, right, they'll never comprehend. If I put something in front of you and you can never read it, how am I expect you to understand it?
Right.
So we have to make sure that those things are in place first, and those are individual assessments that we do. Our assessments maybe take 10 minutes max.
Okay.
But from them 10 minutes, we're going to find out if you're a second grade or lower, do you know your basic consonants and small vowel sounds? If you are third grade or higher, we're going to know what grade level you're at, what your reading rule issues are, if you have any. And then once all that is done and we find out what your fluency is, then we go to comprehension.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a detailed plan just for that person.
It is. We make individual plans for each, and we almost 100%. We have students that are special needs. We have hearing impaired. We have orally impaired, right? And even working with them is wonderful in a sense, because once you learn that the way a student says a certain sound is the way they say it, then they know that sound. I'm giving an example. So I have a student now. I've been working with him for years. When he says the S sound, his mouth can't say that, so he says yeah every time. So if he says sit, he says yet, right? But this is the thing. I'm not a speech pathologist. I teach reading. So if the word says sit and he says yet, I know he know. You feel me now?
But still, even though you know he know, do you put any emphasis,
I
or
do.
is it anything that you do to get him to try to correct it, to say it the right way?
Again, I teach reading.
Okay.
The speech pathologist does that. Now, my students go through their sounds every week, right?
Okay.
So he's always going to say the sounds.
Okay.
If he can say them.
Okay.
But remember, this is a speech issue.
Yeah.
You got me now?
Yeah.
So you let the pros do what the pros do. I stay in my lane.
Gotcha.
But I am an assistant to the speech pathologist because I am saying the same sounds over again that the speech pathologist is saying. I'm just saying it from a reading standpoint.
Okay. Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. And then another thing, I think I would wonder how, and it's hard to even say this, but people who have gone so long up in age, you know, don't know how to read, like when they finally get enough nerve or you know courage to want to reach out for help, like what type of measures need to be, because I'm thinking mentally, you know, how are they feeling, how are they adjusting, how are they receiving the information, is it affecting them, is it stopping them from receiving the information, do they have blocks and barriers now because it's been so long, it's just a lot of obstacles to jump over. So how do you handle that, you know, because already you let me know Carl say he stay in his lane, right?
Look, and I'm gonna but wait a minute now,
so that you ain't no therapist, I don't think, but you're not saying that you can't be, but I mean, that might be something that a therapist might have to handle.
No, it's still a reading issue. It's still a reading issue. Okay. And it's deep that you say that because I had a student. He's 67 years old. Very successful brother, right? He used to live in Detroit. He lives in Macon now. The brother was a police officer. He owned his own EMS company here in Detroit. And his daughters did the paperwork for him, right? Brilliant brother. He was a contractor. Okay, so anytime he was reading, so he developed. He reached out to me because I had taught his grandson how to read, and he happened to be there, and so he wanted me to start working with him. He was in the Detroit area at the time, but then he went back home. So I was working with him from there. So what happens with older students is this. They develop these survival habits. And the survival habits can be hard to break. No question about it. But the consistency, eventually breaks it. So he was also an associate pastor at his church. So every time it was time for him to read a verse from the Bible, he chose a verse that was small, and he chose a verse that he knew he could remember in front of people. Okay? Until we start working together. When we start working together, now all of a sudden, the verses that he chose were longer, and he was confident, and he just flat out read it. And I happened to have a student cancel, and he was doing it, and it was on, they did it live stream, and so I could actually hear him do it in front of the congregation, right? And so I was off the chain excited. He was off the chain excited. Now he can read.
Oh my goodness!
So it's just a matter of the consistency. What we do is this: we take a student and we analyze what they need to the smallest degree, and then we'll give them something called the 5-minute rule. All of my parents will tell you about the 5-minute rule. All I want my students to do for 5 minutes a day is to review whatever I told them and I told their parents to do, just for 5 minutes. That's it, right? And that consistency. And then when they come back to me, I know they did it if it's easy. If it's easy, then we move on to the next piece. And we 5 minutes again. So they're going to read their story and they're going to do their 5 minutes. And what ends up happening is their confidence ends up building, even with my older students. And I have older students that I work with who have memory issues. And so the 5-minute builds their memory. I was a psychology minor.
Goodness. Go ahead, Carl. Go ahead.
Yep. So we get them going. And even the older students, we get them to read. There's no question about it.
That's amazing, because I feel like everybody needs to read. Everybody needs to know how to read. Like, We're not a political show, Carl, nothing like that. But they making changes now. Educational department, just everything up in the air. Like you don't know what's going on. Like, is it even a concern for people to even know how to read? Is anybody pushing the lever to make it seem it's important and pushing? Is it a lot of services out here to help people to know how to read, to teach people?
Well, the issue is not the amount of services. I think the issue is understanding reading. See, anybody can provide a company and say they know what they're doing, and sometimes you can even get some successes, right? But the reality is, the majority. What is the majority doing that is coming from that reading standpoint? Just to give you an example, so I'm gonna say something. It might be a little controversial, but I don't think so.
It's okay. It's okay here, guys. No, go.
So one of the things I try to teach my parents is that, and I teach them. I try to catch them when they're babies, right, before they're 3, and I try to get them to understand that if you teach them the ABCs before you teach them their sounds, you have just created the first block in their ability to learn how to read.
Okay, so along with teaching them ABCs, you got to sound out every word, every syllable, everything sounded out. Is that what you're saying? No?
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is the ABCs will never get a child to read. It'll get a child to remember the letter's name.
Okay.
When you look at the letter sounds, you're talking about the consonant sounds and the small vowel sounds, because when they teach people how to read, they're talking about consonant, vowel, consonant words, which is like big, right? Not, right? So that O is saying ah, right? And then you go from there, you build that small vowel sound, and then you start eventually introducing long vowels, like the silent E rule, or the magic E. I know you remember that with your kids, right? Silent E, magic E, that's when that E makes that vowel say his name. But if they don't have a strong foundation up front, now they're confused. Because now later, I guarantee you, when they try to get out of kindergarten, they're going to try to teach them the sounds. But when they go to read a word, they don't know whether to say A, whether to say ah, whether to say They don't know ah. They don't know what to say because the foundation was confused at the ABC point.
Oh my goodness! But to go back to the person, the gentleman that you helped, you named off so many things that he was able to pass and get by and get over. There is no, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, there is no way he should have been able to get that far without actually knowing, because you can only fake it for so long.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Before you gotta show and prove, you know, and people they saw it. They down peeked through the veil or whatever, got behind the curtain of the wizard, right? So it's just so what would make somebody want to even learn how to read if they've gotten so old up in age and they've been passing all this time and getting by? Like, what would be the thing to make them say, you know what, let me go on and do this for real? Right?
I'm gonna tell you, when it's amazing when someone knows that an individual or entity can get them to read. It is because I want you to think about it. If they watch other people read all these years, they always felt like something was wrong with them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because what happens is as you get older, you like, okay, I can learn that skill. I can learn that skill, right? But if reading is not a part of it, you straight.
Yeah.
You straight. I mean, literally, you straight, right?
Yeah.
But it's still something in your head like, but I couldn't read. And I still can't read. Think about it. You still can't read. You can remember things.
Yeah.
But let something different come.
And that's lightweight impressive, too, for him to be able to
He was
remember
phenomenal.
Everything.
That's
oh,
my man.
God. Because I'm sitting there like, that is impressive.
That's my man.
To be able to go so long, fake that the funk, and get through and pass,
Raise
and then
kids.
Raise kids, and here we are. You know?
Phenomenal man. Phenomenal brother.
Goodness.
Indeed.
Now you done turned this into a business, honey. This is what we do. Name off some of the services that you offer.
Well, we work with students individually. We increase their basic reading skills. We work with students in ELA. We increase their ELA skills in a combination of both comprehension skills. But we also offer professional development for schools. We've got partnerships with several community organizations, EC Michigan, Ebenezer Cultural Center. We just finished with them this summer program, teaching kids how to read. Wayne Metro. We've got a number of empowerment plan I shared with that Star Commonwealth.
Okay.
We've got a number of different organizations that we work with. We also have a video, and on our video it's called The Sounds in Establishing a Reading Foundation. And with that video, it's just $30 video, but the parents and whomever will have access to 9 different reading strategies that you can teach your child or your loved one how to read from the beginning steps at home. It's fun. All of our strategies are maybe 1, 2 minutes, 3 minutes max. You know, and the reason is because we understand that we don't want students to sit there forever and get beat down with something they're not understanding. We a couple of minutes and then move on. But what happens is, because it's fun, because it's empowering for our parents. And let me share something about our parents. Our parents are wonderful.
This show all about you today, Carl. I just want you to know that so you can take your time. We're gonna expunge on some things. Yeah, it's all about you today.
Our parents are wonderful. I've got parents of students all over the country. They give me their 5-minute rule. And you know what's funny is that they, if they don't do their 5 minutes, they come on like they the kid. You know, Mr. King, I'm going to tell you right now, we didn't do it. You know what I mean? But they buy in. We look at our approach as a 3-prong approach. The parents, they have to have the student prepared to learn. The student has to come and get the learning. And we, on our end, C.A. King Literary Services, we have to provide the expertise for the students. So that 3-prong piece works, and our parents are wonderful. But we also have writing books. We have print and writing books under our Good Time Learning division. We have, I'm trying to think of what else, because it's we got some other things coming out now. I don't really want to put it out there. Okay. But we've got some things that we're working on right now that will be coming out very, very soon. That deals with sounds and an app for counseling. So we've got programs and we've got things under our belt. We love what we do. We have a free video for anybody listening. If they go to CA King, www.cakingLiteraryServices.com, we've got a free video on there that will help you teach your child or your loved one how to the small vowel sounds. So we provide a lot of free things. We got a rubric on our website that will teach, give any school a rubric or individual a 10-week rubric of what to do and how to get a person to read.
Guys, this is Motor City Radio. If you just not tuning in, it's your girl, Sexy Shakenya, and this is what we do every Friday at 7 p.m. If you would like to be a guest, give me a call at 313-586-2240. And tonight we have Carl King in the house with C.A. King Literary Services. And guys, he dropping nuggets and jewels. He helping you out. He's sharing resources. I mean, we just kicking it tonight because this is what we do here, guys. But if you have any questions, you can give us a call at 248-429-7224, and we're here to answer them until 8 o'clock because that's what we're at, 7 to 8 every Friday. So we are in the building, and I appreciate you, Carl. I really do. It takes a special kind of person to teach. First of all, you know what I mean? You got to have patience, man. It got to be a passion to even want to help people, you know. Because sometimes, it can be a bit much. It can be a bit much. But yeah, so just so you having the patience and then a love for doing this, man, I can just imagine how many people you've helped. How can we encourage a loved one that we know can't read? You know, we know. We know they ain't never graduated. We know that they can't read. We know they dropped out of school when they was little to go get a job and take care of it. We know. But we do what we want that for them. And they don't want it for themselves. Is it a way to encourage them?
I'm going to tell you.
Get them?
Well, reading is an emotional piece, right? And it's very delicate. I've had parents cry to me. I've had people cry when they've learned how to read. I had parents cry when their students learned how to read. One of the things I used to suggest to the therapist over at Star Commonwealth was that if a student says, or I call them all students, but they may call them something else, but if a student says they don't want to read or they don't like reading, then you need to pull up on having them read in front of people because you're putting them in a position of failure. And you can't do nothing about it.
Wait, you saying put them in front of people or don't put them in front of people?
Do not put them in front of people.
Okay.
If they're saying, I do not like reading, that is a way of saying, I can't read.
Okay.
If they're saying, I don't want to read, and they're always saying, I don't want to read, then...
And that'd be the first thing they do put them in front.
They put them in front of people.
Put them on the spot.
They put them on the spot.
Embarrass them.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, my
So
goodness.
what you want to do is, and think about it, if you have a loved one that then been through that, and many times with many students, they've been through a lot of folk who said they were going to teach them how to read. So now they done went through all these folk, and nobody's got them no further than they've been.
Yeah.
So now they start internalizing it, right?
Yeah.
So if you ask them, well, we got somebody I know this person. They're like, no, well, okay, but they're going to try to blow it off because they don't like the feeling of failure that has been consistent with them in reading, right?
Yeah.
And I've ran into that several times, and I always tell folk, especially my young brothers, because young black males, they really, if you ain't helped them, nobody else helped them, they're not putting themselves back in that position, right? And I always say, look, man, give me my opportunity. If you give me an opportunity, young brother, I'm telling you, I'm going to get you there.
Yeah.
Nobody's done it the way I'm going to do it. I'm getting you there. This is my promise to you. And they will, because they want to do it.
Yeah.
So now they open up to let you do it. And then once that happens and they see the success, it's over.
And then, now I know you set up like an individual plan for each person, but is it like a basic step, like a basic thing that you do with every okay?
It is. So first we assess.
Okay.
We use something called a FAST survey. That assessment will tell us, like I told you earlier, the FAST survey assessment will tell us if you're third grade or higher, what your reading level is, even if it's below kindergarten or below. It'll tell us that, right? It'll tell us that relatively quickly. And it'll also tell us what rules you need. So if you make it down the sheet, then we find that out. We also assess for fluency.
Okay.
Fluency is connected to reading throughout. And a lot of times the parents don't understand the connection between fluency and comprehension, but we're trying to find out, are you a fluent reader? Can you read a certain amount of words per minute, right? We're also assessing for reading endurance. That's your ability to read for a long period of time. So you know how they make standardized tests real long? Okay. They make them long for a reason. Because if they just wanted to know if you could comprehend, you won't need a long test for that.
Okay.
Do that make sense?
It does.
So now we're dealing with reading endurance. Just like in athletics, you look like you work out a little bit.
I do, Carl. Thanks for noticing.
You look great. So, but in working out, your endurance has to be there, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with reading. So we assess with those three areas: basic reading, fluency, and reading endurance. Once that's established, that's not an issue. Then now you can look at comprehension. Okay. So that's the steps that we take. Then we deal with comprehension. We break comprehension down for the student.
And I was about to ask that as far as the comprehension goes. So making sure they understand exactly what they're reading, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Because comprehension is all about understanding.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And it's deep that you bring that up because the students are confused about what comprehension actually means. So the first thing we start with is getting them the definition of comprehension, because they constantly hearing that they can't comprehend, but they don't even know what that means.
What that mean, right?
So you have to put them in contact with that, right? Okay. And then after that, we introduce writing and reading, writing and comprehension simultaneously, but eventually it's going to become one. Because it really is the
This
same
might
thing.
be crazy to ask, but do you teach them how to write in cursive?
I have a cursive handwriting book that we sell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they're trying to stop them from, I don't know why, but I'm hearing like they trying to stop them from writing in cursive. A lot of kids do not know how to write in cursive. And it might not seem important, but I think it would if they sign in their name or if they, I don't know.
And
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Shakenya, there are districts now that bring it back. Cursive handwriting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something else strange, and this is awful what we're talking about, but somebody was on TikTok, had a picture of a clock, just a regular clock. And do you know the children could not tell him what time it was? So it just had me thinking, what are they teaching them in school nowadays? What are they teaching them, and what are they not teaching them in school nowadays?
I'm gonna tell you, the teachers are doing the best they can with the movement that they have. I predicted back when I was actually working for Lewis then, but I predicted that the cell phones would be the biggest distraction in the history of school.
Oh, yeah.
And so now you have, with these mass shootings, you have parents that want their children protect, they want to be able to get in contact with their kids. But the cell phone piece is a huge distraction. I mean, it just is. And it keeps stuff going, with the social media pieces. Whereas when we was in school, somebody may have a fight, and, or maybe not, and, then kind of got squashed.
Right.
Now they got these avenues of keeping it going, and everybody watching it at the same time they going, so they instigate. It's just...
I'm gonna get off the subject. I'm gonna stay on that just for a second, because I do Coffee and Conversation in the morning, guys. Make sure y'all go to my YouTube channel, Coffee and Conversation with Shakenya, and we talk about co-parenting issues. We talk about mental health. We talk about goal setting. We talk about a lot on that page. But one thing that I do stress, I don't believe children should have cell phones. I really don't. I don't feel a child should have a cell phone until about the 8th or 9th grade. And if they do have it at that time, I believe parental controls are on them. So today, when I was doing Coffee and Conversation with Shakenya, I had just mentioned the fact of what I see when I open up my social media. I don't feel like kids should be on social media unless you're making money.
I agree.
And your parents is running the page or something like that. Because
I
just don't feel it's not a place for them.
I agree.
When I opened up my TikTok today, it was a girl with a big old booty, just shaking, just naked, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is wrong. I didn't even wash my face yet, right? So all I could think of is a child opening up their social media, and they saw the same big that I seen. It's just not appropriate. And then I seen on another one, I went to another site, and somebody had just been unalived. But it was there. It just happened. And it's just, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, your kids are seeing this. They don't know how to process it. You're not able to talk to them. Before, back in the day, when we was coming, because I'm up there, Carl. I'm 52, so I'm up there. So if something happened, our parents or somebody was able to talk to us about it or something when we got back to the crib. Like, we didn't really know. Like, so then now we got time to process. But it's not the same. But, yeah, so cell phones is the devil. I'm sorry that they even came. I'm not going to say I'm sorry they came up with them, because mine is handy. But I'm going to be honest, I've left mine at home on a couple different occasions, and I did not rush back to go get it. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Y'all just had to vent a little bit about the cell phones when you said that, because it is a distraction.
Right. It is. It is.
The lady that got seven
cell phones. I know, clear. But it's all just to promote what I do. I don't think if I was an author and had a book, Dysfunctional Family Knot, and was trying to sell it, I don't think I would have so many phones. If I didn't have this wonderful radio show where I promote black-owned businesses, I don't think I would have so many phones.
That's just not the truth.
That's not the truth. No. Well, I use all of them when I'm doing my recordings and when I'm doing my lives. It feels good to go on all
but I mean, Shakenya,
platforms.
I mean, not that I disagree with you, but everything needs to be
monitored.
Yep.
I agree.
When parents get to the point that they're giving the cell phones to the children so that they can get out of their face is the problem.
That's the problem.
I get that. I agree.
Because we've been having technology since we came here.
Yeah, I agree.
You went from black and white TV to color.
Yeah.
You went from radio to TV. But even if you look back in history, watching and listening to the radio was a family function.
Right.
It
Right.
was a family. When I was a kid
Right.
and the record player was playing,
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to go in there and play what I wanted to play.
Nope.
Yeah.
I had to listen to what my mother and my aunts were listening to.
And we could.
And we could.
Yeah, and we could. Right.
So, technology is not going to stop.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Oh, I just seen a robot walking up 7 Mile. So
Yeah,
no,
so,
it's
I
not gonna stop at all.
But when
It's
you-
the Jetsons,
But wouldn't
okay?
you say though that the recklessness of just willy nilly letting your child do or just stay on there forever?
I think all things for children, all things should be monitored and given to children in increments.
Yeah.
My first cell phone that I gave one of my children was a phone that could only call me or their mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That was the first phone
So,
I gave my oldest daughter.
it's a tough issue,
Yeah.
but too often we point the finger at the children
Yeah.
when somebody's supposed to be rearing and raising these children.
I agree.
So if you don't want to do your job, you
Yeah.
have to expect that the children are going to find a way to do it for themselves.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's like, when the gentleman said that based on grade averages and how well people read determines how many penitentiaries they're going to put in a marketplace. Well, if he's putting that information out there and the parents aren't listening so that they can tell their sons and daughters, this is a real thing. You need to understand this. Now, whether the kid takes it and uses it is a whole nother subject.
Right.
But when are the parents going to be guilty of parenting?
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree, Glenn.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
I
so
totally
yeah,
agree.
I don't feel like they should have it. And then when they give them to them, they should have parental controls on it. Then at that time, they should be old enough. Like I had a situation where I had a child's father who gave the youngest one a cell phone against my wishes. Just gave it to her, 9, 10, ain't too young.
Yep.
And my oldest, I didn't give her hers. I stood on that. Her dad was in agreement, so stood on that. Oh, 2 baby daddies. I'm sorry, y'all. Hood life. Hood right life, right? 2 baby daddies, right? But he was on board with me the first one, and I did not give her that cell phone until 8th grade, right? And when I tell you the difference in the two of them, just me being able to teach her phone etiquette, she was very responsible. The oldest didn't lose a phone, you know what I mean? The baby lost a phone, broke a phone, that kept replacing
Phone
it. Lord
drama.
But
Jesus.
to be honest,
Now
with
she
you,
all on
Shakenya,
social media. She got pages we didn't even know about. The oldest, just the page that I knew about. It was just such a difference, and it just proved my theory that a child does not need a cell phone. If you want to talk to that baby, call the baby mama, baby daddy, give him the phone. Here you go. Go and talk to him. Get the phone back.
But what about, we're living in a time where people are going into facilities and harming children.
I understand.
So it's a slippery slope
Yeah.
because we've seen from some of these things that these other folks do at these school systems.
Yeah.
We've seen where they've totally dropped the ball on the kids, right? We've witnessed it.
No doubt. No doubt. Texas. Right.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yes. So when you see things like that as an adult and a parent, you start to lean more towards
They need their phone
they need their phone.
because of safety reasons.
Yes.
Right.
So it's a bigger issue than kids just acting out.
Yeah, and I get that. And again, I go back. If you have to give your child a cell phone, just make sure it's parental controls on there. When she was in the 8th grade, she could only make a call out.
If
She
you
couldn't
go
get
on
all
your-
on the
if you go on
internet.
your phone,
She couldn't do none of that stuff.
There are settings in each of these phones that allow parents to set how that device functions.
Yeah,
But if you just buy the phone
And that's what happens.
and hand the kid,
And that's
I mean,
what
some
happens.
of these kids, I can't have an iPhone.
Yeah.
These kids got iPhone 15s.
Yeah.
So, to some degree, what I'm trying to get you to understand is that these parents are using these devices to raise their
Babysit.
children.
To babysit.
To
To babysit. Right.
Yeah.
I totally
This
agree.
is the babysitter now.
I totally
It
agree.
is. And tablets.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah. I think both of you guys are right. I think the parental the parental guidance. Let's put it like that. The parental guidance should be there, but at the same time, I recognize too that it's a different time, and having access to a cell phone helps the parent feel that the child is safer, right?
Yeah.
And so I definitely get it. My biggest concern is that in terms of education, it is truly a distraction. If it's in the classroom, teachers are battling with those cell phones.
Yeah.
And
their
now,
attention.
and think about it. The teacher is mandated to teach a certain thing. You know, that's one of the problems with the reading issue too, is that if you didn't get this, now we've got to take you to this. And we've got to take you to that because it's state mandated.
And then the
You know what
teacher
I mean?
pays a price.
The teacher will pay a price because they couldn't get the child to put up the phone. You understand what I'm saying? So it is really, and on top of that, the third grade rule. The third grade rule was established in 2016. The third grade rule says that if your child is not reading by the end of the second grade and reading fluently, then it used to be they could hold your child back.
Hold them back.
Now it just got reviewed and updated in 2023. Well, now they can't hold your child back. You know what I mean? But just imagine if here you have a child and the mom is like, no, or the dad is like, no, you can't hold them back. They go into the third grade. They didn't get the basic reading skills that they were supposed to have, and now they got a cell phone.
Yeah.
I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
And then you have to look at the reason that the government is allowing systems to move kids along like that. You have to look
No
deeper
doubt.
into that
I agree.
so that you can understand why they pushing little Jimmy on through. Because they don't give a damn about little Jimmy and what he knows, because they have another place for him
That's right.
as soon as he makes a mistake.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's the truth.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
And that's terrible because you keep going further and further. Before long, you just drop out, because you can't go no further. You tired, you can't get it, you're not understanding, you can't comprehend, and then you just drop out. And that's just
But that used to be what we did, just drop out.
Yeah.
Well, now they don't have to just drop out because they can be shuffled through the system, and then they get out and they don't know anything.
Yeah. Dang, that is terrible.
Well, and that third grade rule came from the colleges too, right? So the colleges were running into having students that severely needed basic reading type things, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying that this child has a high school diploma. And so they go to this college, and this college is like, you know what I mean?
Different planet.
Yeah. So it was, the heat was coming down for them to put that third grade rule in there.
Yeah.
But it was before the pandemic. And my biggest problem is that a lot of blame is on the pandemic, but the reading issue was prior to the pandemic.
Yes, it was.
You know what I mean?
You got some of these now pro athletes that read on a third grade level. That's the truth. And we look at some of these people when you say, well, man, if I was making all that money, I wouldn't have did this, that, and the third. But what you don't realize is that this person has been uneducated.
The entire
Just
time.
happened to ball out.
Yeah.
But he has no education.
Dexter Manley.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes.
What's Dexter Manley?
Dexter Manley was a phenomenal defensive tackle, I want to say, for the Washington Redskins.
Okay.
And he went to Congress, and he told Congress that he got pushed through college, and but he never could read. He crying like a baby. He was crying like a baby. Reading is a very emotional piece. It really, really is.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I've had parents cry to me. They've cried in the beginning of Mr. King, please get my daughter in. You have to get my daughter in. And I'm looking at her in tears. I mean, and I was over at the Southfield Library in those days, because I see them all virtually now. And I got to get this baby in, right? Because she's crying. And then once she was reading, the mama crying. I've had daddies cry because they literally thought that the child was never going to read. And they even state that. If you go on my website and our parent testimonials, they'll tell you, they're saying that from different parts, of the country. They're saying this happened, this happened, this happened. And so what we try to do is just breathe life into the whole reading process, because we've simplified it a lot, and we're very confident in what we do. I mean, we believe that we're going to get you to read, and 9 times out of 10 we do. Our expertise is we're going to get to those details. You're going to do what we tell you to do, and then you're going to read.
It's amazing as I sit here and think, as old as I am, this is the first time that I've heard or seen a black man advocating how important reading is.
Serious, Glenn?
I'm serious. I've never seen this before.
Oh, my goodness.
I've never seen this before.
Wow. Well, Carl, I'm glad that you was able to squeeze us in your busy schedule, and be a part of the show.
I appreciate y'all having me. I really do.
Listen and accept it.
Yeah.
But as I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, this has never happened before in my life. You hear people say that reading is fundamental. You hear people say the importance of reading.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I've ever been in a situation where, I know I haven't been in a situation where a brother was running an organization to get people to learn how to read.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Wow.
It's an honor to meet you, man.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you, brother.
It's an honor.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Now, once you teach them how to read, how far do you dive into the writing? Like, I know it probably, I want to say it goes hand in hand, you know what I mean? But is it a step further that's taken with them after they learn how to read, as far as helping them to write and formulate sentences and whatnot,
Well, what we do is we start off from sentence structure, just like you just said.
Okay.
We get them to understand the 8 parts of speech. We get them to understand paragraph writing, sentence writing. Our students know the 8 parts of speech in isolation. So you can almost ask them, if you say the word R, they're going to say it's a form of B. If you say the word big, it's an adjective. We got different strategies of teaching our students how to learn the parts of speech in isolation, as well as putting them into sentences and being able to manipulate those parts of speech to say whatever they want them to say.
Wow.
We teach them the paragraph, how to develop a paragraph, how to outline it very, very quickly. We put them on the clock on how fast they can write a paragraph and how fast they can outline. Then we have them writing essays. The essays is a simple sentence essay. Then we teach them how to write compound sentences, essays, all compound sentences, all the way through the essay. Then we teach them how to write complex sentence essays, all the way through the essay. Then we have them manipulate when they want it, when I want a simple sentence, when I want a compound sentence, when I want a complex sentence. And so they totally, what we use words like attack and domination when it comes to learning, because we want our students to dominate and we want our students to attack learning. We want you to attack learning. So that's why we started the good time learning portion, because they're going to have fun, right? When we're building that fluency, it's they're competing against themselves. Right? Constantly.
Because I was gonna say, what do you do to keep them even in active?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Involved or even in tuned with it. You know what I mean? And you just said fun. I heard you say fun.
Oh,
like
they have fun.
Reading ain't fun. Yeah.
Reading
so I
fun.
hear you say reading. I heard you say fun a couple times. So I'm saying, okay, must be some games or interactive things that they do with these kids to keep it interact. You know what I'm saying? To keep them in tune.
We do. We there's constant movement of the board and the pieces. The pieces are magnetic. I'll show you a cut picture of it here. So that's our board there.
Okay.
Okay, you see the board?
Now, when it's virtual, do you have the same?
Yeah, they see the board.
Okay.
So the computer is up. They see the board, and I'm popping them on there, and I'm telling my sounds, and I'm doing the different strategies. You have to do phonemic awareness with them. When it comes to reading, phonemic awareness is lining up sounds to make words.
Okay.
Now, a lot of times we take that for granted, but the reality is some students you got to teach that to. So you teach first sound, second sound, third sound, but we're doing things to constantly. So their eyes is constantly moving on the screen. And then I can't give away our fluency techniques, but believe me, they are attacking those words and they're trying to beat their own time, right? And so once that started happening and they're reading stories, 2-3 page stories in a minute and a half, and and they haven't never read before. So now all of a sudden their confidence is there. They're attacking. My biggest concern then is to make sure that the parent does not give them things that they're not ready for.
Okay.
Because it's we graduate, and when a student shows me that they can have mastered something, we move them on to what's next. If they show me they mastered something in 2 things in 1 session, we still moving them on. We move them at the rate that they can go, but we're constantly pushing them. They enjoy the push, right? Because they know what they're doing,
and it becomes competitive.
Nah, they're self-competitive. Right, because there's nobody else but me and them.
Right.
It may be their grandmother or their mother sitting to the side.
Right.
Another thing that we do too, especially with our black students, is we use Black history as part of our comprehension piece. So our students know what happened in 1619, what happened in 1607 when the Europeans came from England. In 1619, they started bringing us, and then they'll tell you what the Civil War was about, what was jumping off then, who was the first one to be killed in it, that kind of thing, and then they just kind of keep moving things forward. This war was because of this war, all the way up to the Civil War. We go through the Harlem Renaissance, and understanding that was the first time that black people really came together and felt strong about being black 60 years after slavery. So they understand these events and history, because anytime that a student, a black student, brings me something that they're working on, they're working on a revolution, I'm like, okay, what was black people doing there? What was black people doing then? What was black people? Because what happens with our kids is that they understand then, okay, it's relevant. You make it relevant. But I'm still teaching main ideas, supporting details, the whole shebang, but we're using literature that deals with black history. But I've got students of all races and nationalities, right? And which is cool, and I don't force black history on nobody that don't want it.
Absolutely.
But I'll use whatever history. If it's a Hispanic student, we use some Hispanic history, right? Okay. But for my black students, I know that I need them to have a love of reading and a love of learning. And if they know that they were there and this is what was happening to black people during this time, they remember it.
Did you develop the curriculum yourself?
I did. Well, okay. I was trained in FAST. FAST is Foundations, Analysis, Synthesis, and Translation for the basic reading part, right? And so I followed the reading rules the way that FAST, not the way that they want to do it, but in order, the order. But they're all our own strategies. Okay. But in terms of the writing and the comprehension part, it's been all us. It's been all us. Yeah, it's been all us. Yep.
Now, how can people get in touch with you, your website, and how can they get the video?
Okay. Well, our website is www.cakingliteraryservices.com. .com. On there, you can get the video. We got our free video as well as a $30 membership where you'll have access to it for an entire year, right? We have that on there. To get in contact with me, our number is 313-326-1376. 313-326-1376. My email address is C.A. King Literary Services info @gmail.com. C.A. King Literary Services info @gmail.com.
Now, are you looking for any help? Anybody? Are you hiring right now?
We are. Well, I got to get to the training part, and I've been. Things come, you know how business work. Developing that training is going to be a project.
Okay.
And so, I've been hit with business, which is not a bad thing.
Right.
It's just I haven't been able to get to it. But I will be trying over the Christmas break to develop the training process because I don't let interventionists go out without them doing exactly the way I want them to do it.
And that's important.
You know what I mean?
And it's crazy because right now with the youth program, I service children with behavior issues. So before COVID, I was taking the young ladies to Huron Valley and I was taking the boys to Ryan Correctional. But the difference is with the girls, when I did the family meetings, I had my daughters sitting in on the meeting. And for some reason, they kind of balanced it out for the young ladies. Because when I just went in by myself, my weapon, my handcuffs, they crying, they so emotional, they not able to grasp what the mission is and what we try to do. But when I brought my daughters into the meetings, it was like it balanced everything out. The girls weren't so emotional. My daughter served as like an interpreter. So it's like now that they have pulled out, the goal was to have them help train the new mentors coming in. That way they can kind of, everything that I taught them, they can kind of dumb it down or do whatever. So the fact that they not there and I got to train some people to come in and take their place, it's hard. Just to sit down and draw up the manual, just all the aspects that I wanted them to cover because they were kind of, I'm not going to say groomed because that's not a good word to use. I'm finding out now, but they were immersed in it. They were educated. They were trained.
It was every day for them.
It was every day for them. We would have conversations. I actually made them sign a confidentiality agreement, and then I allowed them to listen to the conversations of the parents that left messages on the phone. And then we went from there on how they would attack that in the family meeting. What would you suggest? What should the children do? How should the parents act? And we would just do like a little scenario just off of the messages, but they were able to comprehend. So to put that together in a training manual, it's time consuming just for me to even sit down and put it together. But I know I have to because eventually I'm going to have to train because I don't even want to service young ladies right now because I don't have a mentor to come in and sit down and bounce it out. So, so that's something I'm probably trying to work on. I ain't going to do it this weekend, y'all. It's the holiday, y'all. I'm trying to enjoy and kick back right now. But I am going to sit down. So I when you said that, I knew exactly, and once I do that, then I'll start looking for more people to bring in and mentors and training them. But, we're getting close to time to leave. And man, I've enjoyed you, Mr. King.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoyed you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for having me, my brother.
Guys, if you would like to be a guest here on Motor City Radio, we're here every Friday at 7 p.m. only on Street Noise Radio, baby. This is the only place to be. Give me a call, 313-586-2240. And if you would like to get your own show, you've been thinking about it, you've been talking about it, your own podcast, we have room for you here. You can give us a call at 248-429-7224. And somebody will be more than happy to help you, So this is what we do. Today we had Mr. C.A. King from Literary Services in the building, reading coach, baby. So I hope you tuned in. I hope you share the show. Yep, I hope you share the show. You can go to our YouTube channel, Street Noise Radio, and share the show. And definitely visit our website. What is it? www.streetnoise.merch. What's the website, Glenn? Give us the website.
StreetNoiseMerch.com.
Okay, I was close, y'all. But y'all, we got everything on that website.
Reading is actually fun.
It is, y'all. But if you go to that website, we got coffee on that website. We selling everything on that website, baby. We got clothes. We got mugs. We got ways that you can be a part of the movie that we have coming up. What is it? Street comic? What's the name of the movie, Glenn? Comic Kings.
Song Kings.
Song Kings, guys. Yeah, if you want to be a part of he hate me, boy. I tell you. So you want to be a part of the movie, guys. Yeah, we're casting people for that movie still. And you definitely need to check out Beautiful Noise. That's on Tubi. I ain't gonna mess that up because I was there. I seen it. You know what I mean? So yeah, make sure you check that out. It's on Tubi, guys. So I think we're gonna go on and wrap up, guys. I mean, I know because it's saying one time right here saying we over. This clock right here is saying we still got a little time. But we're gonna go on and check out, guys. Make sure you tune in next Friday at 7 p.m. to Motor City Radio. I'm your girl, Sexy Shakenya, and I'm out. Mwah. Thank you, Mr. King.
Thank you.
I enjoyed you.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Bye, TikTok.
That was awesome.